guys, I'm Justin, this is Peter. We're here at day 3 of CES from GameSpot. So we're just looking at the NVIDIA booth. They showed off a lot of interesting things. Probably one of the biggest parts, though, is their streaming solution. So PlayStation has their own kind of streaming system setting up, but NVIDIA has something in the works as well. What is it about?
So they've got 2 different flavors going on of what they call GameStream. One of them is streaming locally from a PC that you have that's got a Kepler-based NVIDIA GPU inside, and essentially what you can do is stream to a device such as an NVIDIA Shield, hook that up to your TV, and then connect a Bluetooth wireless controller, and you can play PC games on your TV without having to lug a PC into the living room. There are a few caveats that come along with that, such as latency. These are things that are being worked on. It's got a lot to do with your network. It's got a lot to do with your TV and your Bluetooth connection. But at the moment, it's pretty viable. The gentleman we spoke to, Andrew Fear, he was explaining that it's very similar to a console. And when he sort of broke down the different components that add up to latency, it sounds like it's pretty much on par. And watching him play, it seemed like it was pretty good.
And it was streaming at about 720p. It looked like at least a really good console game.
Yeah. But the other component is the streaming remotely, say from servers, in the same state, across the country, or maybe even across oceans. That needs a lot more work. Right now they're saying, they have a server in San Jose, and they're saying only people in Northern California should really try it. But they've got people in Florida doing it who are experiencing less than 40 milliseconds of latency, which is really very good. But again, a lot of this depends on the hardware you're using. The service that they're going to be launching is going into beta pretty soon. And, well, actually, it's in beta right now, but it's going to be expanding pretty soon. And they don't really have exact plans right now in terms of a roadmap for release date. And since you won't be playing these games on a PC that you own, you'll be paying NVIDIA as a service to play these games. And those are relationships they're still working on. So it's still very young, but cloud gaming is really young in general.
But and it's in beta, so it's not even something that is necessarily going to come to fruition. They might see this as something that really isn't working out. But one thing that is working out is the GSync, something that they're adding into monitors and graphics cards that's going to improve the way that games look. How does that work exactly?
So in the past, what you would have is a graphics card would render frames, and the monitor would have a constant refresh rate, and the relationship of the rendered frames coming from the card to the monitor would sometimes result in screen tearing or jittering. What they're doing is they're going to hardware manufacturers and saying, look, take our video chip, put it in your monitor, that way the GPU and the monitor can talk to each other and they can sync up the frame rate display. So what you have is a system that doesn't require VSync, which traditionally would tax your PC, thus reducing the graphical fidelity just so you wouldn't have screen tearing. But now it's done without VSync at all. You'll have different frame rates, say 40 and 60, that look as smooth on the same monitor without having to change any settings. So this is something they're offering to hardware manufacturers for a similar price point that traditional monitor chip manufacturers would offer them. And really, it's kind of a win-win. As long as you're buying an NVIDIA GPU, you may as well buy an NVIDIA GSync monitor as well, so long as the price isn't too different, and it sounds like it won't be.
And the last thing that we checked out here at the booth was a new chip set for mobile and tablet devices, and it is making some really amazing looking games, or some amazing looking demos, at least right now. I guess there aren't some games running on it.
Yeah, so for Android mobile devices, NVIDIA is sort of evolving their Tegra line now to sort of incorporate the Kepler CUDA cores into mobile devices. Right now they've got 192 cores, which is approaching the sort of low to mid-tier range of their graphics desktop variants. And the graphics that they're getting are very good. The one caveat here is they're working with OpenGL, which is a really popular and powerful API, but it's not as popular as DirectX. What you're going to see is perhaps people taking mobile gaming a little bit more seriously, as the graphics are going to be able to compete with platforms such as gaming consoles and even gaming laptops. And as you can connect mobile devices to TVs, that's going to be even more attractive for game developers.
And so that about wraps it up for NVIDIA here. Stay tuned to GameSpot.com for all of your CES and other video game related needs, and be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook to see all of the updates as they happen in real time. Thanks a lot.